This is Into the Fire.
I'd like to welcome the very cool, the rugged inside midfielder, Victoria's Charlie Lazzaro. Nice to meet you, Charlie.
Nice to meet you, LJ. Thank you for having me.
It's okay, it's my pleasure. Now, I've heard from numerous sources that you were set for a massive 2020 and your pre-season testing was super impressive. The best you had ever done. How did you cope with the season being ruined by COVID?
Yeah, it was obviously disappointing, LJ, having this year kind of ruled off and the circumstances and difficulties we kind of faced for this year. I think for me, it was more so just going back and going to the basics and doing what I knew. And I think I spent a lot of time during lockdown working on deficiencies and working on areas of my game where I thought I was going to able to make them a strength and try and build up some strengths as well. So I think that probably held me in good stead and made me able to kind of break down the lockdown period to little 6-week blocks and just work on some areas that I needed to improve on and try and go forward from there.
Yeah, that's good. You got 3 personal bests in your testing before the season was supposed to start. What were the areas you made progress in?
Yeah, so I think for me, this pre-season, I had no injuries and had a really good run at it. So I think I spent a lot of time working on my explosive power and also working on topping up my endurance as well. So I think those were probably 2 areas that I spent a lot of time on, and lucky enough, they showed through, I guess, in the testing.
Yeah. You were quoted as saying you wanted a more forward role in your game this year. What did you mean by that?
Yeah, so I spent a lot of time last year playing as an inside midfielder or a bit of a balanced midfielder for the Falcons. So I feel like this year I was trying to add a few more strings to my bow and being able to play not just 1 or 2 positions, being able to play as that small forward and be damaging in the front half of the ground and be able to help my side by kicking some goals.
Yeah. Now, you also said that you were looking at being a more well-rounded person. My dad has achieved that. He just eats more and has lots of Farmers Union iced coffee. He's certainly more well-rounded now. Seriously, what are some of the things that you have done to achieve this?
Yeah, so I think for me, LJ, it's not just about being a footballer. I think I spent a lot of time focusing on my academia and being good at my studies and having other options as well. I think so many people want to pigeonhole people nowadays and just say you're just a footballer. So I think for me, it was more about breaking that stereotype down and being able to be good at school and being able to like music and being able to be also a footballer because that's my passion and that's what I want to do. So I think for me, breaking all that down is something that I take great pride in.
Yeah, it's a good trait. The draft this year will be like no other. What do you want the scouts to remember when they're talking about you?
I think that just what we touched on, LJ. I think that I'm a well-rounded person. I think there's so many people that have been pigeonholed to just one thing, and I think if scouts can realise that I've got more to offer than just being a footballer, I think that's something that I'd be really humbled with.
You are a contest beast and burrow on the ground better than a wombat. The difference is you run a lot faster. Do you think that your contested possession and your run and spread is your biggest attribute? Because it's a massive plus in the AFL.
Oh, that's very humbling, LJ. I think that is probably one of my strengths, and that's something that I look to use as my one wood, and I think that's something that I try to implement into games and something that I definitely try to use to help my teammates and help us do as best as we can when we're playing.
Yeah, that's awesome. You're a contested mid, but you also show such potential as a small forward.
I think my preference would be as a midfielder, but I think just speaking to certain people, being able to play as a small forward and being able to play even on the wing are different areas that I've tried to develop and enhance my game to be able to play as. So I think for me, if I had a choice, I'd love to be an inside midfielder, LJ, but I think if I was given an opportunity as a small forward or as a wing, then I'd be stoked.
Yeah, they're all pretty good positions. You set yourself a goal to be really good at school, and I was wondering how that goal has panned out.
Yeah, so I think definitely having the isolation period to be able to focus more on my studies and not have that distraction of having sport and all those other commitments that school brings and extracurricular activity brings. I think I've been able to achieve some of my goals thus far, LJ. I'm not quite finished yet. We've still got exams and I've still got a few sacks to go, but I'm very optimistic of what it looks like thus far. I think I've done most of the hard work up until this point. There's only a few more hurdles to jump, and then hopefully get a good result at the end of the year.
Sound like an A grade. You're a super talker. You should look at politics. What besides footy do you want to do in the long term?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think something for me that I've always had a passion about is mental health. I think I've always been excited and curious and inquisitive, I think, about why people do what they do and why they do what they think. So I think something that I'm really looking forward to maybe pursuing is something to do in that athlete wellbeing field and some sort of psychology degree going forward. I think that's something that I've always been passionate about. So I think maybe if I can do well enough at school and be able to go forward and pursue something like that, as well as footy, if I am lucky enough to get the opportunity, I'd love to do that.
Yeah. With all the issues around mental health in sport, you want to be a psychologist. Fits in well. The way social media can be combined with the scrutiny of just being a footballer, you will certainly be needed. Are you still looking at following that path?
Yeah, at this point in time, absolutely. I think it's such a big industry at the moment, and you can see just all over Australia and all over the world with everyone, or it's more so in Victoria at the moment, with everyone being in isolation and just the rates of depression and suicide and everything going up. I think it's a really prominent issue and something that I'm really passionate about and something I'd love to take going forward.
You train with Carlton, even got a sneaky selfie with the great man Patrick Cripps. Don't worry, I did that as well. How was the experience of training with such a great club?
Yeah, it was really exciting. I did get a photo with Cripper, which was really, really cool. I think Carlton's such an awesome club, and being able to have a run around with some of those boys, even seeing Greg Williams take us through a few drills and show us a few tips of how he goes about his footy, and seeing the Carlton Footy Club, how they go about their footy. It was really exciting, and I think for me, I got an absolute blast out of it and was able to run around with some of the blokes that I've dreamed of playing with or against, and that's something that I'll hold as a great memory forever.
Yeah, it sounds like a pretty good experience. Okay, let's finish off with some lighter questions. What sport, other than footy, are you pretty good at?
I think I've always been not a bad athlete, so I think athletics was probably something that I was okay at when I was probably a bit younger, and something that I love to do as well.
Yeah, do you think that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's probably something that set me up. I actually stopped it when I was about 16 and just did it for school. But I think that's something that has always been a passion of mine as well.
Oh, yeah, okay. You're in an elevator with the girls from the Miss Universe contest. What's your opening line?
Good question, LJ. I don't know if I've got it. I don't know if I have any really go-tos. I'd probably just try and put my heart on the line and be as honest and open as I can about what I'd say.
Oh, yeah. What would you do better on Big Brother or Survivor?
I think I'd probably do better on Survivor. I think I'm a very honest person, and I think I'm pretty determined. So I think Survivor would be more suited for me than Big Brother.
Yeah, they both sound pretty cool. If you were flown free to any sporting event in the world, what would you choose?
Oh, I think it'd have to be the Super Bowl, LJ. I think I'm a big fan of my American sports, and I'd love to watch the Pittsburgh Steelers win a Super Bowl. So I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. What would you rather, skydiving or swimming with the sharks?
Ooh, good question. I'd probably say skydiving. I reckon I'd be too scared of the sharks, LJ. So I think I'd want to do skydiving.
Yeah. What's your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, a good question. I'm going to say Mr. Saxobeat.
Oh, yeah.
Very big fan of that song.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest, Charlie. I was stoked you wrote you wanted to get forward more. Haven't been listening to my show, have you? Because if you have, you'll know that that's the place to be. I love all positions, but let's be honest, no one remembers the under the pack handballs. Eddie Betts isn't a household name because of his ability to run. So I like your thinking. Get forward and light up those big sticks. Engage the crowd, that's where the money is. I know you're new to the forward caper, so I'll give you advice. It's not the goal that really matters, it's the celebration. It's what brings everyone to life. So I'll give you mine. It's the into the fire.
Absolutely. Very good.
Yeah, do you want to give it a try?
Absolutely.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Nice.
Very good.
Charlie Lazzaro, I cannot thank you enough for spending time with me. You're a legend of a guy, and I wish you all the best in the draft and for a long and successful journey in the AFL. Good luck for the rest of the year, mate.
Likewise, LJ. Thanks for having me, and you're a ripper of a little fella too. So hopefully all your future endeavours go your way, and I look forward to liaising with you soon.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.